It's pretty fitting that we are releasing our U.S. of Yay edition of the Savvy Scrapbookers on Flag Day. Donna Guest here, Creative Memories Advisor and the Lazy Scrapbooker. Nicole, Debbie, and I have divided up the papers and laser borders, and we have 6 fun and patriotic pages for you, so you can get them ready for your Memorial Day or July 4th photos. Here's my original layout I was working on last week, the one I intended to do for this video. I like it, but I like this one better. Credit for the very effective paper change goes to one of my team members, Nicole, another Nicole. This summer, I am hosting a summer scrapbook challenge on my Facebook page. And this week's challenge is a page using this mitered corner that I've got planned for this video. It's one of my favorite go-tos for creating a simple and elegant page. Nicole used the U.S. of Yay for her challenge entry, and I fell in love with the paper she chose as the border. It looked so good. And it was one of the 4 papers I have from when Debbie, Nicole, and I divided them up. So because of my team member, Nicole, I am changing where I'm using all 4 of my papers. So thanks, Nicole, for the inspiration. And if you are wanting some ideas, inspiration, and prize opportunities, it's not too late to join my 2023 Summer Scrapbook Challenge. It runs through July 30th. I'll include the links in the description of this video. Okay, let's get started. Here are the papers that I chose when we divided them up. And I got 3 of the laser borders. First, I'm going to use these 2 sheets as my background. So I'm just going to set these aside. And now, using this beautiful Stars and Stripes paper, I'm going to cut the strips that we're going to need for the border all around these pages. They measure at about 1 1/8 inch each, but the key here is to let the blue be on the outside of the border. I'm going to trim just a little bit of this off here. I'll zoom in on that so you can see I cut just a teeny tiny bit off so that the blue stars are on the edge. Now I'm going to slide that over and carefully cut. It's about 1 1/8 inch, but more importantly, you want to make sure that you're cutting right on the edge of this blue, and I can use my sight line that hides up in the corner there. Okay, so there's our goal right there. We've cut this strip and we have the blue on the edges. So now I need 6 of these, so I just need to do this 5 more times. So I'm going to seemingly waste some of this paper, like I'm going to cut off these red stripes here, and we're probably not going to use that. But if you're a scrapbook hoarder, you can save it for later. And then I'm going to push it over again and cut right there to where I have those perfect stripes. Did that look great? All right, now I need 4 more, so I'll speed things up and we'll do this 4 more times. So now I've got 6 equal strips, and then I've got some leftover materials. Okay, so here are my 2 background pages. I've got the red on the left and the blue on the right, and the blue striped paper is going horizontally here. And remember that extra piece that we just had left over when I cut these 6 perfect strips here? We're going to use it. And I'm going to put this over here. It's just 2 inches wide exactly. And so it's going to serve as an extra border that we're going to use as a way to use all of these fun border strips right here. So that's kind of an optional thing for you. You may choose to do this a little bit differently. Totally up to you. But see how you like it. I'm going to go ahead and attach this piece over to the far right here so that when I put other things around it, it'll be just perfect. So I want to make sure I get this exactly lined up. All right, very good. All right, now it's time to attach our 6 strips. Now the key with a mitered corner, having it look really good, and I've got a video all about this that I'll put up in the top right hand corner if you want to look at that later. Now this usually works best when you have a striped pattern, as you'll see, although in my summer scrapbook challenge I have seen some amazing renditions of this, some even using something they punched with a border maker system. So we're going to set these around just like this. It's actually going to go here because of my little bonus border there. Okay, it's not perfect yet, but it will be. Okay, so if you didn't like the bonus border, you could always just, I'll let you be the judge, shift it over like this and have even more room for your photos. But we're going to use the bonus border for this because I am a firm believer that when I'm doing patriotic type pages, I like them so busy. They're just so fun. So let's start on the left-hand side first. When you're attaching this, you don't want to attach in the corners with your tape runner. You want to leave that without adhesive so far. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put the adhesive there. I'm going to put it here, 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 and all the way to the end. And then I'm going to attach this down here at the bottom. That's a very important step to make because you want to be able to peel this up, and you'll see why in a moment. All right, I'm going to do the same thing up here. Now it can go all the way to this end here because this is a 2-page spread. In my video, I show this technique for doing both 1 and 2 pages. Okay, now I'm going to be putting this one on the left-hand side over here. And because we've got 2 corners, I'm going to leave off the tape runner here and here. So I'll start here. There we go. Okay, it looks pretty good, but it's not perfect. So let's fix that. Now we're going to take a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to pop up these. I'll do it better with my hands. So I'm pulling it up from the edge here, and I'm just going to cut from the corner to the inside corner like this. And boom, look how perfect that is. See how the stripes meet? That is what's called a mitered corner. You will see that, you know, on picture frames, things like that. So now I'll just add more repositional tape runner, and it's perfect. Okay, so let me show you that one more time. Taking this other corner, lifting up both strips because I did not attach them, and then cutting from the outside corner to the inside corner. Just make sure you line your scissors up correctly. And take 2 little triangles out. You know, if you were really thrifty, you could save those as photo corners. I'm not going to. So now we're going to add the tape runner here, and everything is attached perfectly. So look at that perfect left-hand side page. Let me attach this down here. Didn't do a good job with my tape runner. There we go. That looks great. So now I'm going to come over here to the right, and we're going to do the same thing. Now, again, I'm bringing it in a little bit, so I'm going to have to trim some off over here. But let's start right here. So because this is a corner over here, again, I'm going to do the tape runner here, 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 and there, and leave it off right there since I am going to be trimming off those pieces. And we'll do the same thing up here. Okay, so now I can use my trimmer. I always love doing that, or I can just use my scissors here. Will be just as easy on such a small piece. So we're just trimming that off. And now we're going to take this and we're going to do the same thing, leaving off the tape runner down here where we're going to have it in the corner, and just put a little bit all the way up. And just like we did on the other side, but we're leaving that little border right there that I'll show you what we're going to do with that to make it really fun. All right, so I cut the corners again. I just love how it looks. It's really a very satisfying technique, but it's a quick and easy way to make a really elegant page. All right, one more corner. All right, looks good. So let's move on to the next step. I'm going to move the left-hand page out of the way, and we're just going to focus on this right page. Now, a while back, I did a Tuesday tip and then a YouTube video on using these laser borders in a different way. And we're going to cut them and use them down the side here. So we know this is exactly 2 inches. So I'm going to cut my borders into 2-inch strips. Let's use the trimmer for that. It's going to feel weird cutting some of these, but I think you're going to like the look. It's pretty cool. I'll just cut a few with them so far. We'll see how many we can get on here and how we like the spacing. Oops, I didn't press hard enough down on that. Let me do that again. There we go. You know what? I think I found the problem. If you look at my trimmer, here's just a little tip here. I noticed that it didn't cut that easy enough. It had to really press down, but you can see my line on my one is super, super worn. So it's time. And I'm just going to pop this up. Each line on your trimmer mat, gets about 500 cuts. When you can tell it's not cutting as good as it used to, flip it around to the next number. This one's number 2, which looks like I've already used number 2 some too. I do that a lot. Think when I'm doing demos and teaching this stuff, so that's probably why. But let's keep on cutting. If this one wears out, I'll move on to number 3. This works well for 2 inches because most of these are, the pattern starts over every 2 inches, at least for these little flags here. And sometimes if I find that I am using this too much up here, I just bring it down and line it up and down here. And I've got like a brand new mat because this doesn't get used as much down here as this does up here. So if you want more tips on your trimmer, check out the video in the top right corner. It's my 20 favorite things about your Creative Memories 12-inch trimmer. So let's start with what we have here. So most of these are double-sided. These are exactly the same, except for it's a different color. So they're not exactly the same. It's the same patterns, but they're in a different place. So I'm going to do them this way so that the red is next to the blue and not the blue next to the blue. So we'll start with this on top. There we go. And if I have a little bit left over, we'll just trim that in a moment. So now I'm going to use another pattern here. How fun, and almost bordering on obnoxious. I absolutely love it. And then we'll use these stars. Let's see which side we like better. I think the darker is going to look better on this lighter paper. All right, we're going to come back to this because I'm going to use some leftover paper and bring in a border punch I have on hand. So I'm just going to put all our little cut pieces over here, and we'll come back to that. Now, our last piece of paper we have is dark red on one side and has the stars on the other. So I'm going to actually use this for our photo mats. And I think I might on this side use the blue and on this side use the red. So I've got a stack of pictures here. I'm not sure I'm going to use them all, but let me take a moment and trim these. So you don't always have to crop your photos, but I like to get as many pictures on the page as I can. And typically with digital photos, our pictures are how we intended them to be. It's not like the old days when we're getting who knows what printed out. But I will say there's a little bit of dark sky up here that I can trim off and not miss anything. Okay, I managed to sort of place all these pictures on the pages from July 4th, 2021. And now I'm going to make a few photo mats with them. Now, most of my pictures are 4 inches wide, so I like a 1/8 inch mat. So I'm just going to come over to 4 1/4. That will give me an 1/8 inch on each side. And now I'm just going to trim my mats to fit. A lot of times with these pre-done pages, we will put mats of a certain size, but you have your own photos. You know what size they need to be. And so I like to just do a 4 1/4, and then I'll come and I'll trim an 1/8 of an inch border here. And so to do that, I have the edge of my photo at the left edge of this gray mat here, because I know that's going to give me a 1/8 inch border on that side. So there's a perfect mat there. So again, I'm lining it up where the edge of my photo is on the left-hand side, and we'll trim that off, and we've got a perfect mat. So that's all you need to know about cutting mats. So let me fast forward here and go to the next step. Okay, here's what I've got going with my mats. I really like how they turned out. Not every photo has a mat though. I'm actually going to fussy cut this one to give myself a little more room. And then these three, I love what I did here. I knew that I had about 9 inches width for my photos. So with 3 photos, I need to cut those down to about 2 3/4 inches width each. And it was surprisingly easy. I thought I needed to leave them 4 inches wide. I did not. I still see the fireworks, and I was able to include all 3 of the pictures. And I ended up cropping them down to where they were at the same height. So I really like how that looks. Looks great. So let me go ahead and attach these, and we'll keep going over here. I'm going to leave room for a date right here. I make sure to put dates on all of my pages. And now using Creative Memories micro tip scissors, I'm going to fussy cut. You know, they say fussy cutting is back. I love it. Something about it, it's like cutting out paper dolls when we were young. Very relaxing. So I'm cutting out this picture of myself. I can't say that I'm the mom that never gets in photos, because that's kind of a bad habit that moms have. We take all the photos, but we don't get in the photos ourselves. But I am changing that. I'm getting in the photos. Okay, so I'm going to attach this in the corner. So it's straight on both sides. I'm going to put something next to it. I'm going to let this fall down into the border here. And then I'll put this right next to it, but giving a little space between so the red pops through. And then this can overlap that because that's just part of the building there and not important. But it's not overlapping much. But I did like the placement here because you can see my son watching the fireworks and it looks like he is looking in that direction. That was important to me. I don't know why. And we'll finish by attaching all of these. I am using my favorite font of our ABC 1, 2, 3 stickers, and that is sans serif. I like the size of these. You can see from here, if you can see that, they're pretty small, but not too small. And you get a lot of letters. You get 3 sheets, one with uppercase, lowercase, and then numbers. So I'm just going to write July 4th, 2021. I don't know what I would do without the multi tool in putting down these letters. Okay, back to our little bonus border here that is so fun and frivolous. I'm going to bring in the flag banner border punch. And I'm using this paper that's red that I used for the photo mats, but you can see that it says United States of America, so I want to go with that pattern. And so I'm just going to punch that direction. Now, it's a little bit too big, and I knew it would be because not all of these are 2 inches. Most are about 2.5 because it's 5 punches per foot, and that's not really exactly 2.5, but let's see how we end up here. I'll trim a little bit more off this left side. And I'm just going to add that pattern there just to give us something a little bit different, and we'll trim off this edge again. And now we'll continue on with this fun pattern that we've got going. We can kind of mix it up here. Okay, so that is quite a pattern we've got going there. I do love really fun, colorful pages when I'm doing fireworks or any kind of 4th of July or patriotic page. And so now I'm just going to trim any excess off there. Very neat, nice. So I do have some of these left over, and you could choose to certainly use them maybe at the bottom of one of these or something like that if you wanted to. Totally up to you. That kind of works nicely there. I think I might put that one there. Let me trim it just a little bit. And actually, I'm going to trim it where it looks like it's just a 6-inch border. So I'm kind of cutting off a little bit there. That was better. And let's turn and use the lighter side this time. So you can totally choose to do that or not do that, up to you. And then another punch we just got, if you haven't seen this, the fireworks punch. It was released actually with the Enchanted Wizard collection. But hey, it certainly works for July 4th, doesn't it? So we got a few more out of our leftover paper here. So I can choose to put these around where I might want them. Actually, what I'm going to do is now make a quick couple of journaling boxes because I do love to journal. So I'm going to make a few little, or a couple little spaces here using my ruler. I see it's about 2 inches by 3 inches. Same over here. So let's just make a 2-inch column with our lined paper. And then I can journal and cut to fit so that I don't have to write exactly the same amount. And then I can even add one of these on the journaling box if I like. Okay, let me journal now. So I definitely wrote more than 3 inches, so I'm glad I did not pre-cut that so I could say what I wanted to say. And now I'll just cut that off. Just a great way to use these lined paper packs. I love journaling, of course, and definitely don't want to leave off that very important part of scrapbooking. There we go, all done. I love the way these pages turned out. They are fun and include 8 photos and journaling. Now, if you haven't already, check out Nicole and Debbie's videos for their 2 pages. The links for their videos can be found in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month.